Screech by TarynMcT. Read by Oakshadow 5. Chapter 7. Izuku walked out of the changing room and saw Hitoshi waiting for him.
Hey, Izu, how do you think you did?
He asked. Hey, I think I did okay. I took out a few robots, but I didn't get as many as I probably could have. I spent a lot of the time helping people avoid getting hurt. Izuku shrugged. I mean, I couldn't just stand there and ignore it when a robot was about to shoot a laser at some kid.
Well, you probably did a lot better than you think you did, so I want to take you somewhere to celebrate.
Hitoshi grinned at him.
I found a cafe I think you might like.
Oh, really? One that I might like? Izuku raised an eyebrow at his brother. Why do I have the feeling that it's one you might like and I'm just a convenient excuse to go? Hitoshi shrugged.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He turned a mischievous grin towards Izuku.
We're still going, though.
Izuku laughed. Of course, of course. It didn't take long for the two of them to come to the cafe. After just one look, Izuku almost turned around and walked off, but was stopped by a cackling Hitoshi.
Oh, come on, just for a little bit. Please.
Oh, fine. But next time we're finding some, I don't know, brainwasher cafe or something, Izuku grumbled as Hitoshi dragged him into the owl cafe.
I doubt the brainwasher cafe would be very profitable.
Hitoshi laughed.
We're not all that adorable, but I mean, look at these little guys.
Hitoshi was cooing at all the little owls in the cafe. Izuku had to admit they were cute, and he wasn't really upset that Hitoshi had brought them here. He had heard about these places before. Owl cafes were just like cat cafes, and this one looked pretty cozy. There were perches all over the cafe, some cubbyholes for owls that wanted to hide, some areas were darker than others, and there was no loud music playing. Instead, they were the sounds of a forest at night. Izuku felt at peace in this cafe. Not that he really wanted to tell Hitoshi that. As the two brothers found a table and ordered some food and drinks, they were pleased to see an owl had decided to come say hello. A pretty snowy owl swooped onto the perch at the table and then hopped down and wandered to Hitoshi and started grooming his hair. Izuku giggled and pulled out his phone to take a picture. I'm sending this to Hisashi, Izuku warned him.
Yeah, Papa would probably get a kick out of that.
Hitoshi started petting the owl, marveling at how soft the feathers were.
I didn't think they'd be so soft.
Yeah, Izuku replied. Owl feathers aren't the same as other birds. We have more soft, fluffy feathers. It's part of what makes us so quiet in flight. Izuku dropped a few more owl facts to Hitoshi while they were both enamored by the snow owl at the table. Eventually, though, Izuku had a question that would change the subject into something deeper, heavier. Hey, Toshi, can I ask a question that might be a bit too personal? Izuku was looking down at his coffee, not even attempting to meet Hitoshi's eyes. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Sure.
Hitoshi raised an eyebrow, wondering where this was going. Izuku started, and then paused, not sure how he wanted to start this. Well, okay, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this. Really, I'm not. He glanced up at Hitoshi, checking to see if he was annoyed or not yet. When he got a small grin, he decided to continue. How are you so confident? He ended in a whisper. Hitoshi's eyes widened at that. That was not where he thought this was going.
What do you mean?
Izuku squirmed. Again, I don't mean to be offensive to you. Really, I'm not.
Izuku, I can tell you're not trying to be mean, but if you don't spit it out, I'll never even know what you're not being mean about.
Hitoshi interrupted. Right. Izuku took a deep breath, held it for a few seconds, and then released it. With a quirk and past like yours, I can mention a lot of self-esteem issues, and that anyone would normally want to talk to you. And even if they didn't know your quirk, the fear of accidentally triggering it would make you want to not talk. I'm wondering how you managed to get over all of that. Hitoshi was silent. He just ran his hand over the feathers of the owl at his side. Izuku couldn't tell if he was upset with him, contemplating his answer, or if he had managed to trigger a silent episode. Just as Izuku was about to apologize, Hitoshi spoke.
You're right, and for a few months after I was adopted, the only person I would speak to was Dad. I wouldn't even speak to Papa. They both taught me JSL, so I was able to communicate, but I wouldn't talk. One day, when Dad was out and I thought Papa didn't have his hearing aids in, I was singing along to the radio.
Hitoshi had a soft smile on his face.
Papa had been testing out a new pair of hearing aids, much smaller, and barely visible. He had me singing. Pretended he couldn't, though, didn't want me to stop.
I take it you sing really well? Hitoshi huffed at a laugh.
Papa says it's because I have a vocal quirk, that's why my voice is so nice. Even when my voice started changing, it never cracked, squeaked, broke, nothing.
Lucky, I still squeak sometimes, Izuku mumbled as Hitoshi smirked.
But Papa heard me. He continued. After that day, he started to coerce me into talking more. He bribed me, I'm not ashamed to admit it. He trained me like a dog. He would give me treats whenever I would use my voice. Hitachi laughed. It only lasted a few weeks though. Dad found out and kicked him out of the house for a few days. But Papa is the one who helped me build my confidence. Dad made sure I knew how to use my quirk properly, but my self-esteem issues were all handled by Papa. Oh, and my therapist too, I guess, but mainly Papa. Izuku looked thoughtfully back at his coffee. Why the sudden interest? Hitoshi asked. It's something me and Keiko were talking about the other day. I've been having a difficult time with my confidence lately. In the exam today, I wasn't really all that sure if I was going to be able to use my quirk in front of all those other examinees. Izuku looked up quickly, worried Toshi was going to square at him for that, and was relieved to see him nodding to continue. Acting weak has been a central part of my life for so long, I don't really know how not to do it, but when I'm Screech, it just comes naturally. Keiko said it was like I'm adopting a hero persona, and he's probably right. I have noticed that you're a lot more confident when you're fighting than when you're doing anything else, Hitoshi pointed out. Yeah, but that's another thing. I want to be not a nervous wreck, like most of the time. I don't need to be Screech 24/7, but I like to be a functional person. I'm working on it, but it's hard. Izuku finished in a whisper. That's why I asked. From what I know about you, your quirk, and your past, I figured you had these same problems at one point. You should definitely take this to Papa. If anyone can help you with building your confidence, it'll be him. He was so cool today, Izuku said, the stars back in his eyes. I had almost forgotten just how awesome Present Mike is. After these past few weeks living with Hisashi, seeing Present Mike, I swear he's a totally different person. Hisashi? Izuku asked after dinner that night. He'd been thinking about the conversations he'd had with both Keigo and with Hitoshi all day, and he had decided that Hitoshi was right. He'd have to bring his problem up with Hisashi. Yeah, what's up? Hisashi said while doing dishes, with Izuku helping. Well, here's the thing. Izuku hesitated, not quite sure how to ask this. Today, seeing you on stage not as Hisashi but as Present Mike, that was really cool. I couldn't help but thinking that's what a hero persona is supposed to be, because I didn't see Hisashi on stage, I only saw Present Mike. Well, thanks, little listener. I've spent a lot of years perfecting that act. I would hope I've got it down fairly well by now. Hisashi grinned, a bit unsure where Izuku was going with this, but willing to just roll with it. Well, the other day, Keiko was talking to me about something, and it kind of helped me today. I was really nervous about using my quirk at the exam today, Izuku started. He could see Hisashi nodding along, knowing how Izuku had felt. I have a lot of issues with my confidence that I'm trying to work on, and Keiko said something about how I was already halfway to creating a hero persona with my Screech act, and that if I went in a Screech, I should be okay. Well, I've never met you as Screech, so I can't say anything about that, but from what I've heard from show, and what I saw of the exam today, you're a very competent fighter. You probably do have a good hero persona started there, Hisashi agreed. And then earlier today, me and Toshi were in a cafe, and I was asking him about how he's so confident, despite everything he's been through, and he said most of it was thanks to you. Izuku paused and looked up at Hisashi. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, can you help me with that too? I think my Screech persona might be decent, but my normal day-to-day confidence needs some serious work. He ended in a whisper. Hisashi pulled Izuku into a hug. Sure thing, kiddo. You're a bit older than Toshi was, so don't expect instant results, but I'm sure we can definitely get you a bit more confident in yourself before high school starts. We have until April after all. Thanks. February and March passed quickly, and while Izuku wasn't yet at his brother's level of confidence, he was a lot further than he had been. His progress had made huge leaps and bounds, and he had felt he was ready for the first day of high school. Right up until he looked at the front gates. Nope, I can't do this, I'm out. Izuku turned and started walking away, but a laughing Hitoshi grabbed him around the waist and hefted him over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes and just started walking into the building. You're going to do fine, Izu, he said with a smirk. And I bet you even make a friend or two, maybe even 3. You know everyone is staring at us, right? Izuku pointed out, hoping that would make Toshi put him down. Well, you shouldn't have tried to run. Hitoshi shrugged at the shoulder Izuku wasn't on. It's not like this is the first time you've been to UA, so really, I don't see the issue. I haven't been to a new school with new classmates since I first started primary school, Izuku complained. Aldera District had all the same kids. About time you met new people then. They had reached the door to the class. If I put you down, will you walk into the class on your own, or will you attempt to run again?
He teased and set Izuku down. Izuku could hear Bakugo in the class. He wanted to run. He really wanted to run. He didn't want to see Bakugo again. Gods, why did he have to be in 1A again? Wasn't there another class, 1B? He should have been put in that class, or even the general education class. He doesn't deserve to be in the same... Ick! He felt the cold splash of water from Hitoshi's squirt gun.
If you're going to mumble, make sure it's positive, Izu. So now, repeat what you said, but positively.
Hitoshi's glare threatened to turn the squirt gun on him again. Izuku gulped nervously. I deserve to be here? He said hesitantly.
Damn right you do. What scores did you get on the exam?
I got first place on the NCLEX exam, a 97% on the written, and 102 points on the practical, Izuku said, still quiet, but not a whisper anymore.
Don't you dare forget that. Now, continue.
I don't really remember what else I said. He glanced at the door again. I can hear one of the kids from my old school in there, and, well...
He was one of your bullies, wasn't he?
At Izuku's hesitant nod, Hitoshi continued.
If he messes with you, I'll have him walk into oncoming traffic. Don't worry about it.
Hitoshi grinned his dad's evil grin.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, this was such a cute chapter. Izuku and Hitoshi going to an owl cafe, and them talking about confidence, and then Hisashi teaching Izuku confidence. And the time skip of 2 months to the beginning of high school, now they're in UA, and they're going to meet the class. Yes, I'm so excited. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 7 of Screech, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!